Do you ever struggle to make decisions? Or do you find yourself overthinking decisions? If yes, you're in the right place. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about how to make clear, stress-free decisions. In other words, how to take the overthinking and doubting out of decision-making. So think of a time that you had to make a really big, life-altering decision. So maybe you were trying to decide if you should quit your job or move to a new city, or maybe you were trying to decide if you should leave your spouse or break up with your business partner. Or maybe you were trying to decide if you should say yes to a new job opportunity, even though your current job felt good. Big, life-altering decisions can be very stressful. They can feel very overwhelming. Making the wrong decision can feel so big that it literally can feel like it could devour us alive. The pressure to make the right decision can make us go around and around in the thinking mind, swirling, doubting, self-questioning, and overanalyzing. We've all been there. Big decisions used to seriously stress me out. I used to write out the pros and the cons, and then I would weigh both of them, never really getting anywhere with that. I'd lay in bed, anxious, filled with anxiety, unable to sleep. But now, big decisions are no big deal to me. I've learned to quiet the mind and silence that fearful negative voice of the ego. And I've learned to trust my own soul and the divine to show me the way. So what does this mean? Within each of us is a guiding force, an inner wisdom that gives you a higher perspective on life, that is always there for you, that is always guiding you. And that inner wisdom or that inner guidance is our souls. So our souls know why we came into this life, know why we came into this body, why we chose the family we did. And our souls know what our purpose is and what we are here on this planet to do. So how do we allow our souls and the universe to help us in making life-altering decisions, big life decisions? How do we allow our souls or the universe to show us the way? The first step is to get quiet. The thinking mind is a noisy place. It's like being in a bustling train station teeming with thousands of people and trying to hear a tiny little bell. It's not going to happen. So the first step is to quiet the mind so that you can hear that inner guidance. So meditation is great for this, but if meditation is not for you or it's just not your thing, that's okay. There are many ways to quiet the mind. So for example, to go for a hike in the forest or get out into the mountains or sit by the ocean or be by the lake shore. So step number one is to quiet the mind. And that way we're going to better be able to hear the guidance coming in. Step number two is to dip into our hearts and feel the decision. So the goal is to come away from the busy thinking mind, silence the negative, fearful ego, and come into the heart and feel in the body what the decision feels like. This is a far more accurate compass than up here, and certainly not listening to the nattering ego. So how do we do this? So it's very simple. It looks a little bit like this. You close your eyes and you just imagine the decision that you're trying to make out in front of you. So let's say it's accepting a different job position. So you just imagine that that's out in front of you, and then you imagine yourself saying yes to it. So you imagine yourself stepping right into it. How does it feel? How does your body feel? Does your heart feel open and expansive? Does it feel good? Do you feel excited? Do you feel at peace stepping into that decision? Does it feel like a yes in your body? Or do you feel contraction in the body, kind of like a tension? Do you feel resistance? Does it feel like a no like a big no or a not now. So if it does feel like a bit of anxiety or tension or contraction, the first thing then would be to determine if this is in fact a no, or is it your own fear? So let's use the example of the job again. So let's say you're thinking of the job and it makes you feel like contracting and anxious. So then you ask, is this resistance my fear? This is my resistance, my fear. Yes, actually it is. I feel fear. Okay, what am I afraid of? And maybe you get, oh, I'm afraid because this job is higher level and there's more expected of me. I'm afraid to fail, right? Bingo. So it's not necessarily a no, it's actually fear that you're feeling. So if it is a fear, then you would want to acknowledge it and sit with it and release that fear so that you can then feel into the body again. So it helps to reach out to someone like myself who can help you come down to the root of the fear and release it, and then you can get better clarity. So let's say you've gone through this process, the 2 steps, getting quiet and feeling into the heart, and you don't get a yes or no. Like you don't get clarity. That's okay. So sometimes when we have a really emotional charge around the outcome or emotional connection around the outcome of the decision, it's hard to discern if it's a yes or no. If that's the case, here are some really powerful tools, powerful steps to help you get clear intuitive guidance. Okay. Step number 1 is to hand over the decision to a higher power. So hand over the decision to the universe or the divine. So you just imagine that you're putting the decision into a beautiful ball, and just imagine with your eyes closed that you're just throwing it up to the universe to allow the universe to hold it for you. Okay? So you let it go. So you let it go. The second step is then to ask for guidance, right? So you let it go and now you ask for guidance. So it can be something like, please show me what step I am meant to take now, or please show me what I am meant to do in this decision. So you ask for guidance. I personally find it very effective to do this right before bed, and often I'll have clarity right in the morning. You can do it anytime, but right before bed is a really powerful time to ask for guidance. So step 1, you let it go. You let the universe hold it for you. Step 2, you ask for guidance. So guidance can come in many, many different forms. You can find your answer on a billboard as you're driving down the highway. You can spot your answer in an email that lands in your inbox. Or you can spot your answer in a conversation with a friend. This actually happens a lot when suddenly a friend is talking about something and you suddenly know, oh, that's what I'm meant to do, exactly what she just is talking about. Or if you're a dreamer, you'll often get your messages or your guidance in dreams. So I once handed over a whopper of a decision to the divine, and I won't go into the details, but it had the potential to be life-altering. And I asked for guidance before bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night to a loud, booming voice that gave me the exact clear direction that I needed. And miraculously, I fell back asleep. A few hours later, I woke again in the darkness to a loud, booming, authoritative voice saying exactly what I needed to do. I couldn't miss the guidance. So guidance doesn't always come in that fast, because that was probably 4 to 6 hours. It doesn't always come in that fast. So in the weeks or the days that follow, it's important to not go searching for your answer or the guidance or a sign. Because as soon as you find yourself searching or hunting, it's important to then hand it back over to the universe, let it go again. Because as soon as you're searching or hunting, or you're going over and over in your mind about what the decision is and what you should do, you've stepped back into the ego. And as soon as you're back in the fear-based ego, you're blocking the guidance from coming in because you're no longer open and clear, right? You're holding it all again. You're in the thinking mind again. You've got the nattering voice of the ego. What should you do? What should you do? So that in that way, you're blocking the guidance from coming in. So you go back to step 1, handing the whole thing over and asking for guidance again. this type of decision making requires trust. I'm not going to lie. It requires trust with a capital T. It requires trust in your own ability to hear this guidance. It requires trust in a higher power. But the truth is, you and I and each of us, we are fully supported at all times. We have an entire team, a quote unquote invisible team supporting us. Our souls, our spirit guides, we'll talk about them another time, the universe. We even have loved ones who've passed here for us, helping guide us. It's just that we often don't hear it because we're so busy in the thinking mind and we've cut ourselves off thinking that we need to make this decision, right? So when you get out of your own way, you're able to have this beautiful team support you and guide you. So allow me to share a really cool story about how this works. I recently worked with a client and she was a healer and she put together this really powerful program that she wanted to share. It was a group program. And she called me and she was frustrated because the start date was like days away and she only had one person signed up. So I tuned in and I got, yeah, absolutely. She was for sure going to do this group program and for sure it was going to be with a group, but she was meant to delay it by a few weeks. I also got guidance for her that now in the interim, in that time, was time that she was meant to go back into a full place of trust with the universe and trust that she was meant to be a healer in this life. Because what had happened is she wasn't trusting the universe anymore. In fact, she was pissed at the universe because the universe wasn't collaborating or compromising or working with her time frame and her agenda. And she was doubting that she was a healer in the first place because things weren't working out, seemingly. So she left the session, and then 10 days later, she texted me and said that she had delayed the start date, as we talked about, and that she'd gone into a full place of trust and surrender and faith. And she had let go of everything. She'd let go of the hope of even leading this group program. She just let it all go. And here's the cool part. So out of the blue in meditation, she got very clear guidance to post her program on a online group page of some sort, but it was a very specific page that she got guidance. So she did that within one day of receiving that guidance and taking inspired action. She fully booked out her program. One day is all it took. So this is an awesome example of what happens when we trust our soul and we trust the universe to guide us and when we listen to that guidance. So, and this is also a good lesson on divine timing. Not everything works out exactly at the time we want it to work out, as I'm sure you've probably learned too in life. So if you're struggling to make a big decision, reach out for support. I'm happy to help you touch into the feeling body and see if you can get a yes or no, and to help you connect with your soul so that you can hear what your soul's guidance is for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. You can visit me at rachelshonaker.com and I'll see you all next time.